What is up, guys? Right behind me is a Range Rover Velar, and it is probably one of my favorite English SUVs. I'm a big fan of black and white combinations on any car, and this one also looks really good. But in my opinion, I do believe that Range Rovers tend to look a bit better in some darker colors, but this one is also a beast. Up front you can of course find the Range Rover badge with a black grille, but what I like the most, because I'm a sucker for lights, are these headlights. If I unlock the car, just check it out. I really love the design of these headlights, and I can even turn on the main lights. I believe that all Range Rovers have a great headlight design and a taillight design. Love that. So this car rides on this massive 21-inch wheels, and they're blacked out naturally and they look really good. Another black thing is this strip that doesn't really do anything, but it does look good, and the blacked out mirrors. What's really interesting about this car is that it has these self-retracting door handles, and I actually really like this design. I just think that it makes it look much more aggressive and like interesting. So this is how the door handles actually feel pretty nice. They're light because they're plastic, and they open up like this from the back. So this Velar actually sits somewhere between the smaller Evoque and the classic big Range Rover. Its back end is really sporty, and I really prefer this design over some competitors that are actually trying to make SUVs look like coupes. Just check this out. It has some sort of a 3D effect with those thinner lines, and the line goes far away into the side. I really love this design. It's very unique from the back. And of course, the tailgate opens by a click of the button. As you can see, the trunk is absolutely massive. There's even a net for a dog. And if this car had air suspension, you would be able to click a button over here and actually lower the back end of the car to make the loading easier. And here's the button to actually close the door. So here under the hood you can find a 3-liter V6 engine that's twin turbocharged and makes 300 horsepower and 700 Nm of torque. This is a massive car that weighs 2.5 tons, and it actually takes it from 0 to 100 in 6.5 seconds, which for me seems like fast enough for such a massive car. Check out the interior. First up, here are the doors. As you can see, the design is pretty simple. First up, you'll notice this massive door handle here on the doors that feels pretty great, some window switches and memory seating options. And if you notice, there's actually a flag of United Kingdom hidden in the pattern right here. Okay, so the seating position is actually pretty high and it feels comfortable, but the seating position is much higher than something, for example, like BMW X5. That car is actually much sportier, and this one doesn't feel as sporty. It feels like you're sitting in a box, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of shows how spacious this car really is and how spacious it feels. All the materials inside this car are really high quality, and it feels really nice to sit in here, but my attention of course goes to all the displays that are in front of me. Let's check this out. So this is how the car looks like once you get in, and let's see how the starting sequence looks like. It's really hard to actually reach the button because you can't push it from the side, so your hand actually needs to go below here and then up, and then click the button. So the car actually started because I had my foot on a brake, and it's pretty quiet in here, I must say. You probably first noticed this button raising up where you actually select gears, and once you put it in reverse, there's a camera popping up, and here you can actually see the digital gauge display. These buttons actually change depending on what you're looking at. So as you can see here, once I press up, the buttons change, and once I go into the menu, the buttons also change. So these are the actual buttons, and I really love the fact that they actually turn into orange once they engaged. This just kind of feels like you know that the button actually worked. This main display is actually tilted away from the dashboard, as you can see here, and it lifts away once you actually turn it on, but you can also manually adjust it. Just check this out. You can select the angle, and display actually changes the angle. Now I can actually close it all the way down, or open it up if you want to see the bigger angle once you're driving. I like this feature because it's a technology feature that I appreciate, but it's not like a game changer for anyone. And down here you can see the secondary display. Here you can control the climate, the seats, the vehicle, and some settings about the vehicle or about the display. This is a very cool display because it actually shows you your car. That looks really nice. I think that more people should do that, especially if you have cars that look like this. You can of course select different driving modes depending on where you're driving, and you can select temperature just by switching these gears. And if you press this button down, it actually switches to seat settings, so you can warm up your butt or just turn it off. Storage space is also pretty decent in here. You cannot close up this compartment, so you have a cup holder and another compartment. You can press this button to open up another cup holder, and you have two separate arms rests to actually open up the main compartment here in the middle. That's actually pretty deep. And there's also the glove box that's regular sized. This car also has a panoramic roof with the blinds. Press this button in twice and it actually closes up. Now that's closed. Once that's closed, you can also close the shade. These shades will also close up automatically once you turn off the car, because it doesn't make sense to actually have the sun burning your car from inside. I must say that this first experience of the Range Rover from the inside is actually really fulfilling. It feels great to sit inside. I can see myself driving this car on a long road trip without a trouble. It also looks really cool, it feels really cool, but it's not as sporty as some of the competitors, but it's also not meant to be as sporty. I think it's a really nice interior and it feels great to be in here. So this is it for the Range Rover Velar. It's a really interesting car. I love my first experience with the Range Rover and I still think that it's one of the best looking English SUVs. Now let me know what you think about it in the comments below and subscribe if you want to see more car videos like this one.